Hey everyone, it's me Brennan, back for another track guide in ACC, this time at Valencia with the new Ferrari. I've seen a couple of these guides out already, but I'm going to do my own one, my own way, because I can. And we're on the default setup, by the way, with some very minor adjustments. Now down towards the first turn, which is a very fast left-hander, we're going to start by positioning our car slightly outside this white line. For a nicer entry line, it'll allow us to carry more speed through the turn. We're looking out for those white marks on the fence. We're going to brake a little bit before that. And then after that, we want to look for the apex. Now we can use a little bit of the green area on the inside there, as long as we're not going onto the grass, because that will throw the car around, which is not what we want. And then use all the speed we're carrying all the way out to the outside. Only on this turn we can carry our car all the way onto the green stuff, as long as we're not putting all four wheels outside of the green. Then we want to bring the car back onto the tarmac, back within the limits. And for the next turn, we're looking out for the white line here. We want to brake a little bit before it. If you've had a bad first turn, you could possibly brake a little bit later. This is one of the tightest turns on the track, so we're bringing it all the way down to first gear. And we want a slightly later apex, get hard on the throttle, let the car rotate all the way out to the outside. This time we have to stay within the curb, but using all the track that we can. Then this little left kink up ahead should be flat out. After this, we want to bring the car back to the left and try position our car as parallel as possible with the curb line, and then brake slightly before or on this white line there. Then we want to trail brake towards the inside, use this inside curb with the green stuff, and as long as we're not touching the grass, because again that'll unsettle the car. Then carrying our speed through to the outside and not onto the sand. We can get close to it but not touching it, otherwise a lap will be invalid. Now from this point we're looking towards an apex of the next turn. We're going to start turning in quite early and then carry some speed and also trail brake. We're going to start accelerating about mid-turn where the green stuff is, then carry the car's speed towards the outside. Same story here. Don't go into the sand because your lap will become invalid. The car will probably want to move around on throttle there, so just be prepared. You might want to be softer on throttle if you're not so confident. Back to the right, we're going to brake a little bit after this white line this time around. We can go fairly deep into the turn because we're going uphill. On this lap I brought it down to first gear in this turn, but you can probably keep it in second as long as you bring it nice and tight to the apex, getting on throttle about mid-turn, then bring it all the way to the outside using all the track. And on the green stuff in this particular exit, it's very bumpy, so come towards the tarmac quite early to avoid all that for too long. Then we're taking the shortest line possible and then coming back towards the outside to prepare for the next turn. Nice entry line. And then we brake just before this white line. And notice in this turn how it goes downhill, so we're going to have a little bit less grip, so we want to keep quite tight to the apex here. As you can see, bring it down to first gear, and then about mid-turn is where we want to get on throttle. But as long as we're getting the front end to pull back in towards the apex, that's when we start accelerating. Then again, just be careful, don't go too far out wide there, otherwise you'll invalidate the lap. Taking the shortest line, and for this turn, which is one of the more complicated turns on the track, you're going to want to start braking around this apex here, and just be careful. You're not going to want to slam the brakes, and you don't want to carry too much speed, otherwise you'll spin. You're going to want to slowly peel off the brake pedal and gradually increase your steering input. You want a late apex here, and the earlier you get on throttle, the faster you're going to be, but don't accelerate too early, otherwise you'll end wide and you'll have a bad line. You can go a little bit wider on exit than I did there, so maybe a little bit of time lost there. Here, you want to come all the way to the outside, brake just before this white line. Don't brake too hard too long because you don't want to slow down too much. You want to carry your speed through here. But you do understeer a little bit on turn entry here. You've got to be careful. It will take some experimenting, and you don't want to hit that sausage curb because that'll mess you up. You want to get as close to that sausage curb as you can. I ran a little bit wide on this occasion, so you could possibly get this line a little bit straighter than I did. Be careful, right where I've got that red arrow, there's a really nasty bump that can flick the car up, as I'm going to show and demonstrate right here. You'll see there's a first bump, and then the second one's the nasty one. It completely lifts the front off the ground. That can kind of possibly cost you some time. So I got away with it here, very lucky, no bump at all. But usually you want to come back towards the inside just to avoid the bump. For the final braking zone, you got the ALF sign on the left or the white line on the right you can use as a braking reference. You're going to brake just after that. And you could also possibly position yourself a little bit wider than I did there for a nicer entry line. But this worked all right in this lap for me. I got a good time out of it. Then don't run too wide on exit. Again, don't go over there, or don't go outside the curb. Hard on the throttle. Use a little bit of on-throttle rotation to get in a little bit extra time. And down towards the line, in this lap I got a 130.8. I think where I messed that one turn up with the sausage curb, I lost a little bit of time there, but hey, this is the lap again. I'm not going to interrupt it, so you can see it all in one smooth motion. And then after that we're going to take a look at the pit entry and how to optimally take that, so I'll be back in a minute. And now we're going to take a look at the pit entry and where we should brake. So taking the final turn as we normally would, then staying on the outside where the pit lane is. We're looking for where the pit wall starts, the orange thing. We're going to be braking just before that, in a dead straight line, braking hard, and we should end up at 50 k's an hour just before the pit line. If you want to really get aggressive, you might be able to brake just at the orange thing. Here we made it quite safely in, not speeding into the pits, and I think that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope this has helped you out. If you have any of your own tips, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I hope to catch you guys in another video very soon.